Hello, my name is Tyrese, and today we're going to talk about a topic that's very close to my little artist heart: action adventure game storytelling. Now, action adventure games have been a part of me since my childhood. They have given me an insight to worlds full of color and depth, ones that go beyond our imagination and challenge our creativity when interacting with the world that the game creators have laid out for us players. An out of this world experience unfolded in our very own living room, a place to escape compared to our boring little lives outside of the games. The way certain games tell the story of their world is amazing. Vague happenings and unexplainable scenarios are one to challenge one's detective skills. Really brings out the inner Sherlock Holmes of mine. For example, games like Dark Souls, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Elden Ring always have me asking questions. What is that? What does that happen? Where will this lead to? Every lore and story is plastered in the elements of the games, whether it be in map design, item descriptions, and game entities. It makes me get so involved and so immersed, uncovering how their worlds came to be. The game aspect of these stories also give me a sense of fulfillment when given a reward after beating an oh so challenging boss fight. Another point for these games for immersion. Moving around as your favorite hero taking down bad guys or failing horribly gets you in a character for certain scenarios to come. You get emotionally attached to certain characters as their story progresses, and watching them win or pass becomes also more meaningful to the players as the story engages us. So in these games, you are usually starting out as a hero that will save and or doom certain worlds to come. These games usually start you out with a tutorial showing you how the controls work, how you move around, and how you attack, and it shows you the preface of their stories. Usually, in the games that I've said, Legend of Zelda, Dark Souls, 1, 2, 3, and Elden Ring, it starts out in a world that's grim and in a rut from foes that make the world sort of a living hell because you're a hero. You're supposed to be solving something, and that's what the games are made for. It's made to give you a fantasy role of becoming the hero of Hyrule or a person that will burn everything because I don't know. It's it's a long story. Let's just say that. Um, Now, for people that identify as a newbie for these types of games, it will be confusing for the time sets of your beginnings. Feeling every beat and rhythm of the fights you take on, accompanied with beautiful music that these games give, should be experienced lovingly. For how lovingly. For how intricate the concept gets, it is accompanied with how simple each and every control given to you. In these very challenging games, they have shown me that dying is a very common thing to do, and dying isn't as scarce as other games like, let's say, Cooking Mama, and it really just uh, gives the player a chance to fail, a chance to learn, and a chance to improve. It doesn't make it so that the character itself is improving. Well, it is improving, but you yourself as a player is also improving. You get to learn a lot of stories and a lot of lessons through these games. Lots of lessons that are more engaging than, let's say, a film or a book. Now, as previously mentioned, they have been a part of me since childhood, so these games are sort of like a close friend of mine. They've grown up with me. They've evolved since then, and they have been teaching new generations of children their stories and their lore. And not only is it engaging, it It also is very educational in many ways, more than one. For it helps with your hand to eye coordination for gameplay, of course. It helps you with sympathizing with people that are a little less fortunate. Um, I'll get into detail into one character which I really like. The character that I really like personally is a character called Mifa. Mifa, the princess of the Zora. Now, the Zora is a race of fish turned human people, and they live peacefully in Hyrule together with bird people, together with living rocks, Hylians, which is people with pointy ears, like elves, and many other things that are kind of weird to explain. But anyways, Mifa is the princess of the Zora. She is a hero of Hyrule, appointed by King Bosphoromus Hyrule. She is supposedly a, a contender to protect Hyrule from the calamity Ganon. Ganondorf is a calamity that comes in a few hundred years, is it? And they basically, well, not they, he basically just turns everything bad. He's just like the bad guy. Now, why I like Mifa is because of her relationship to the main character, Link, the hero of Hyrule. Now, Mifa is a spirit when you talk to her in game. She is a tragedy. What she's a tragedy story because one, she is a failed knight, and number two, she is a hopeless romantic. Her and Link, Mifa and Link's, Mifa's and Link's relationship doesn't really get talked about a lot in the game, but it is implied that she does like Link. But thing is, it goes kind of south because she unfortunately dies in the calamity of Ganon. Now, the game really just hits hard when Mifa's cutscene comes on, and it's her as a spirit form talking to Link about how she will always be there for him and how Link can rely on her healing even after her death. She really makes it hit home how the calamity hit on this kingdom and how this calamity has ruined so much lives and how it makes it more and more meaningful for Link to save it from the calamity and save Princess Zelda, his his actual significant other. She has been trapped there for 100 years, trying to fight off Ganon, and is now supposedly you have to save her as Link in the game. Well, moving on from that, we'll talk more about the other games. Like, well, the most recent one that I like is Elden Ring. Now, Elden Ring is still kind of new, and I still haven't figured out what's happening. But basically, again, it's you starting out as a player that's it's just looking out in the world, trying to save it. It's been grim for the people in the Forbidden Lands because of the shattering of the Elden Ring. Now, what the shattering of the Elden Ring cost is kind of vague. It basically made a bunch of monsters, turned people into monsters, made it basically like kind of a living hell because there's a lot of torture and death and destruction everywhere. Um, there's like prophets that are being tortured because they've seen uh, the flame of frenzy. It's confusing, really. But to give you the gist of it, it's just you go. you go and build your character, and then you take on the mantle of being the Elden Lord and try to make things better for everyone. Or worse, it's usually worse because these games are kind of tragic. They they aren't one to give you a happy ending because it not to be pessimistic or anything, but like usually when you're given a bad hand, it's gonna be hard to get. It's gonna be hard to like get out of it. It's I know I'm not making this very appealing for certain people, but yeah, no, the game itself is beautiful. It there's stories that are hidden. Can't really tell because there's not a lot of dialogue in the game. There's kind of just happenings, and there's the happenings I can't really explain because I don't want to, spoil anything for you or for anyone. Yeah, so in the game itself, there's like dragons, fire, and a lot of knights, and a lot of zombie-looking people, sentient snake people, things that you would see in like, what do you call it? Things you would see in a very grim, dark fantasy type setting of, like what's a good, what's a good comparison? Like Lovecraftian horror stuff. That stuff. That's some of the stuff that they show there, and it's really appealing. I don't know about you or anyone, but that stuff really like is really interesting, especially if it's like made to it's evolved more, about and given like a story to back it up. And in games like these, you're given your set of game mechanics. You're gonna kill this guy. You're gonna kill that guy. You have sort of attacks, and they play music while you're killing the guy, so it's like really cool in that. And these games also have a gameplay sort of exploration. Exploration gives you more context to the world itself. Sometimes you'd go into like an abandoned castle, and it shows you the story of King Bosphorus, or it shows you the story of how the Elden Ring world came to be, and how it came into the horrors it was now. And exploring as is a very rewarding thing to do because it's unlike watching or reading where it's just given to you straight out. Sometimes it's just in movies and books it's just given like vaguely by like certain dialogues and contexts like that. But this game, it not only does it engages you and gives it to you vaguely, it also just makes it a fun experience for you to do it. You're not just like sitting there looking at it or sitting there and just eating chips watching the movie, right? That's sort of the appeal of these games to me personally. Not to rag on book and movie lovers, they have what they have. I'm just saying why these stuff appeal to me more. And oh man, I can't say how much I recommend these games to people because of just having the experiences. I wish that I can experience them again. I wish I just forget it, just forget all the games and just redo it in my mind. That's how good they are. It's I can't stress enough. I'm stammering a lot. I'm sorry. This is hard to watch or to listen to. Oh yeah, yeah. So in conclusion, to end our talk today about action adventure game storytelling, I just recommend everyone and anyone to just give it a try because it is a treat. Peace out, and thank you for listening and enjoying perhaps this talk. Bye bye.